Our opportunity. These are our opportunity, and thanks, Chris, for doing that. I apologize. This is our master series. It's a deeper dive on a particular subject that we find or feel is a concern that we should be taking care of or educating our elite cities on to be prepared. And we found some experts in this industry, and we're really excited about having them on today to really educate us. I'm not an education, I'm not educated in this particular subject, but I have experienced it, and I can share some of those examples later as we get into the topic. But let's go ahead and get started. Um, Couple items. Our agenda today, quick introduction about us. We do have guests in here from other cities and other areas around the country that I want to make sure they know who GSLI is. We'll do our guest intros. We'll dive into our presentations, and then we'll have an opportunity for questions and answers. We do have a lot of polls today, guys, so get your fingers ready. A lot of interaction with today's uh, master series. And if you do have a question, don't wait till the end to ask it. Down on the bottom, you'll see a little Q&A with two bubbles. Click that, put your city and put your community and put your question, and those will go up into our queue. And if we feel like they're necessary to answer then or wait till the Q&A, we'll do it at that time. A little bit about housekeeping items. Don't unmute. You'll have to ask us to unmute and ask questions. We very much encourage questions throughout this. This is put on and presented for you and to answer your questions. If we feel like there's an in-depth question in the queue that we need to have you go live on, we'll just ask you to raise your hand. We'll bring you on. And for our elite city members, they can access this library and go back and use these recordings to help educate other people on their staff or use them however they want. A little bit about GSLI. We are celebrating, as of last month, our 30th year of experience, and we're still growing as a Elite Cities Alliance. We're very, very excited about that. We are all about one thing, job creation. And every decision we make here at our company is it going to help create new jobs and keep those jobs secure? Exclusivity. We do limit the number of elite cities that we allow into our alliance per state. On an average, it's 5 communities per state. But really proud about the statistic of the work we've done over the past 30 years. We've identified over 2,700 projects, created 127.8 million square foot of space, created 9.7 billion in capital investment, and the thing that we're most proud of, helped create 63,750 jobs over these years, and we hope to continue in that growth path. Best way, if you don't know about us, is just jump onto our portal, create a free account. You can actually go in and look at all of our projects, see if they align with your community. If they do, we can set up a meeting with one of our coaches, help walk you through a submission process and get those submissions in. They'll work with you after the submission to make sure it's a correct submission and in compliance and something that we think will capture the attention of the project and really let you understand what we're all about. We kind of joke about it. We like to let you taste the buffet before you have to pay for it. So we'd love to invite you to take a look at our portal. The other way that you can best get plugged in and connected is our jam sessions. We do those every second and fourth Tuesday. They're 30 minutes. They're educational. We're going through an education series right now of AI. We talk about pressing projects that are active, and we do a deeper dive on those. And we do a little bit of training on our portal and help continuing in the development of that. Prospect Live, we have one coming up. We just got word back from the prospect today, and it looks like it's going to be in the last week of October. That's an opportunity to come in, listen to a prospect as I interview them, raise your hand, ask questions to the prospect directly, and an excellent way to get familiar with what a prospect looks for in their expansions or relocations. And then we have our master series. That's what we're doing today. And all of these are kept in our library of information and resources for our cities to tap into and look back on and use when growing their individual communities. Today, we have myself, we have Karen. Karen, won't you how are you? We're excited about having you. This is Karen's
Hi,
first
everyone.
time to be our moderator. She does an amazing job for us. She's our marketing director. And we've got Daniel Rosser. He'll be coming on shortly with his presentation about what it means on cybersecurity.
Hey, everybody.
With that said, Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you as our moderator, and let's get the presentation on the road. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Eric, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daniel. Thank you for joining us today. We prepared today's webinar to help municipalities become better prepared and better informed how they can prepare for a data breach. They're becoming increasingly more frequent. Just as an example, last week, the University Medical Center in Lubbock had a ransomware IT outage. And back in August, the city of Killeen also had a data breach. So it's important that every municipality is prepared for this incident. There are tools and resources available, and that's a lot what Daniel is going to talk about today in terms of how you can be prepared and informed and take action. So we'd like to get started with a quick poll, though, of our audience's comfort level and preparedness of their own data security to ensure we cover everything. So if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and click one of the options there that we have posted.
All right, looks like we have some confidence. We got about 50-50. Some people are not confident at all. That's where I sit. So it looks like we're about 50-50 right now. We've got some, we don't have anybody that's real confident, but somewhat confident and not confident.
Daniel, tell us about Core Plus a little bit and the reason for entering the municipality sector.
Absolutely. Thank you for everybody for joining today. Core Plus was founded in 2006 as a cybersecurity company. Our goal is to help companies just like cities and municipalities make sure that from the internet to the desk to all their employees, we can secure the network as best as possible. We do that through firewalls and software, but we also do that through training and meeting with the city managers and department heads, understanding your specific city. I like to say, if you've seen one city, you've seen one city. So they're all different. They all have different needs. And so Core Plus, we are a development shop, so we own our own software and we're fully staffed. So we become your full outsource IT solutions, whether that's to assist on-site IT that you currently have, or we have the capability of outsourcing the whole solution. So today we're talking about risk and we're talking about cybersecurity. And data breaches, it's every day you watch the news or see a newspaper, and there's another, all different size companies having a breach. And a breach really means that they've probably taken critical data and possibly have locked you out of being able to access your data. So I think this is a great time to bring this into play. Core Plus is here to be a partner with you. First and foremost, we have to build trust, that you trust that we can support what we're saying and build relationships. So the most important thing to Core Plus is relationships. And so we appreciate the team from GSLI bringing us in to help our government entities and municipalities work towards a better health score, if you will, of your cyber platform. More than 2,200 US government entities, including municipalities, were directly impacted by ransomware in 2023. And every year that exponentially grows. If you look at how they attack and what the process is, 44% in 2002 experienced a ransomware attack. And ransomware usually means that they encrypt your data where you cannot access it. And if you don't have a good backup solution, you might have to pay a ransom. We've seen ransoms anywhere from $200,000 to, if you saw the CDK ransom attack about a month ago, they paid $40 million to get their data back.
Yeah,
And so, yeah,
and Daniel, I think I heard of an example where a city got they got held ransom and they didn't want to pay the ransom, and didn't they lose like their entire criminal records of 20 years or something like that?
yeah, it's really unfortunate that everything we do today is on a computer and a server and a hard drive. And they literally can shut you down, lose all of your data. Think about that. If you lost your data and you had a lawsuit or some kind of information that the police department records were needed for a case or for whatever it is. Of course, you have all of your financials, all of the normal day-to-day city operations in a data system. And if you can't access it, just imagine if you couldn't turn your computer on, what that would do to your whole operation. We look at the statistics, and every day there's large numbers and they keep getting larger. And so it really is critical. And that's why you asked us why we were working with cities. We started working with rural cities because we found that there wasn't a good resource for them. And we love working with all size cities. So, like I said earlier, we can come in and be the entire resource for you. Or if you have an IT department, we can come in and just help them in different. Risk is not necessarily an IT function. So we want to work with city managers and council and mayors and make sure that from the top down that we've got a plan to make sure that we've got your data protected and your network secure as best as possible. We are CGIS certified, so we work with police departments. We can go unescorted into the police departments and work on their systems. The best practice, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so Daniel, we know that with the increase in the news of all the data breaches, a lot of communities are trying to be proactive. We have a second poll here that we wanted to put up to see about how our audience feels about their current status.
Great, yeah. We love to know where you are today. And this is one of the key questions that we ask. What is your biggest concerns? I ask people what keeps you up at night. How can we help you feel more comfortable about going home and going to sleep and not worrying if something's going to happen while you're asleep?
Yeah, and it's just creepy whenever somebody comes in and starts, I've had examples like I had an email come in from my to my assistant and our producer, Cresta. She got an email from my daughter was moving places, and somehow they saw it on Facebook and they sent an email to Cresta saying change so my paychecks are now flowing into this bank account.
That's
And
terrible.
if Cresta wasn't as attentive as she is, she would have just changed the bank account information. And then she got a bill the other day for $50,000 with all these attached emails of correspondence with me and the company. Never even talked to them. And it's
Wow.
just, and that's, that type of stuff is just wild. It looks like most people are fearful of ransom attacks, 67%, and data breaches are the second most on the
Yeah.
poll.
And so what, another big part of that is municipals and utility districts are a big target, right? They know that a lot of times the systems aren't hardened, and so they're easy to get into. And that's really what we want to help with. We will, we look at risk. Risk looks at, everything from your security assessment. So initially we do an assessment. It's kind of like going to a doctor and getting a health checkup, your annual checkup. We kind of do that for your networks. So we look at your health today and we help with a plan to get you more secure. We prevent attacks by putting um, firewalls and software on your systems, but we also really look at backing up your data offsite and securely. So if there is a breach or you lose the potential to get to your data, we could recover it outside of that event. Data security confidence, like I said, backups and secure storage. Everybody's going to a laserfish type deal where you're scanning all of your data in, and it's all electronic. What Eric was talking about is there's many attacks that look like it's from somebody with all the new AI and all the new fake avatars. They literally can go to your social media, find your voice and mimic it and call into the city, and they think that they're talking to you. It's really scary. What's the next slide? So
Oh, the next one.
yep, go
Well,
ahead.
this is the
Looks
kind
like
of the
we have a few
final.
polls. Yep.
Yeah, we do. On this one, Eric kind of set us up for this, that we had several that we wanted to go through and
Awesome.
make sure we get some input from our audience. But so as we enter this final topic, the first addresses the security of your actual physical location. So we wanted to see what people have to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing that we help look at. So physical access to your back office, physical access to the actual server room where your data is stored. We've heard of stories where people just walk in and pick it up and leave, and they thought that they were part of the IT team, right? So we really talk about locking down that side as well.
What do they say? If you carry a ladder, you can get in anywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. I can get in anywhere. Um,
It looks like 67% are both physical and network security. And 33, well, now we're up to 50-50 of network security. Those are the two trending ones on this poll.
Good. All right.
Okay.
And it looks like we have a few more polls.
Yep, we sure do. The next one is going to give us or you an indication of the data retention security.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talk about backing up data. I've actually gone to cities where they said their backup solution was an external drive that they took home or put in their trunk of their car, which is better than nothing. But we definitely have some better solutions that we can maintain and have visual if the backup actually got the data.
Yeah, if I see somebody list never here, I'm going to be the first one to call you guys.
There you go.
Yeah, we've got a good spread here. We've got 20% with rarely, we've got 40% occasionally, and 40% regularly. So good
Okay.
job on the regularly.
Yeah. And that's a
Okay.
big part of what we talk about, making sure that we can recover your data if something happens. Because
What
it's
do you,
not always just risk. The physical servers die too.
Daniel, let me ask you that. What do you recommend as a good cadence of backup? Is that as
Absolutely.
much as minutely, hourly, daily, monthly?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we back up the systems we use back up daily for sure. And then depending on the type of software, sometimes we're only about 2 hours behind your data, meaning that you've spent all morning putting your QuickBooks data in or entering traffic tickets or whatever it is, and you get an attack or the system goes down. We're typically about 2 hours behind your data. So you'd only possibly lose about 2 hours. And now
Yeah,
that's a big deal, right?
yeah.
Because there are some solutions that only back up once a day or once a
Mhm.
week, and it is real critical. And then the other part of what we really recommend is an offsite backup, taking that data out of your building in case, we just saw the stuff from this hurricane. If your building floods, those systems may never turn on again.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Brenda. Can you give us a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are all safe out there and your data? Because
Yeah, that's
that's one of
scary.
those things that's, that whole coast was hit pretty hard and really probably put some systems to test. All right. Brenda, you're good on the
Yeah.
eastern side.
And then disaster recovery plans. What happens if something like that happens? Because we want to work with you to be able to function, even if we had to set up a remote temporary site, you know. And so this is a big piece of what we do while we're planning for the total risk stature. And then, comprehensive monitoring. So we like to put a system in place that we are looking at all of your systems. And if anything changes, we're notified right away. So that real-time alerts. I've got a solution that we put on in, and it puts a hidden Word document in a part of your system that would never be touched by any normal user. And if it ever changes, it can actually take that system off the internet in milliseconds. Because what we found is most of these ransomware attacks start on one system and then spread and get every system on the network. And so we use some systems to make sure that as soon as they can, it shuts it down. My team's notified right away, and we contact the city manager or whoever our contact is and say, hey, we need to make sure we take that system and reload it. We won't ever even turn it back on. And then automated response, that's what I'm talking about. So we'd love to meet you where you are, right? We know that there's plenty of systems and solutions that you may want to get to, and we want to help work a plan to get you there. What's the next slide? So that's a data availability and quick recovery. So the way our backup solutions, when we really set them up, we can virtually turn them on in the remote data centers, and we can get you virtually in there so you can access your data. Sometimes it's not just a ransomware or virus attack. Sometimes you come in and you push the power, and there was a lightning storm last night and it fried all the computers or the network equipment. And sometimes we just have to have a temporary solution while we fix that solution to get you to your data, keep you working, there's a bunch of parts of the cities and municipalities that are life systems, right? EMS and police and so we got to keep those, and utilities, we got to keep those operational.
Daniel, could I ask a
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
just real
Yes,
quick?
ma'am. Sure.
Just from a standpoint of disaster recovery, what are some like easy, basic practices that somebody could implement immediately without
Absolutely.
getting into, a lot of expense? What are some of the basic ones to initial? First, of course, physical security of the location, but then where would you go from there if you were an economic development community?
Sure. Well, it's important to work with your current IT solution, whether it's, like I said, in-house or a outsourced solution that you currently have, and have conversations with them and talk about how is your data backed up and what happens if the whole building won't turn on for whatever reason. What happens if you get a ransom? So talking about your backup solutions, understanding what your recoverability is and what the time is to get it where you could remote into it is really important. We have the capability, but I know a lot of the people that are on this call today have great resources. And it's just a conversation you want to make sure that you have regularly to make sure that there isn't a better solution out there. Protecting your municipality and best practices, 24/7 tools and technology, watching while you're asleep. And a lot of our cities are 24/7 entities with police and fire and EMS and utilities. And so, it's real critical to just ask questions. If we can be a resource, we'd love to, but we ultimately just want to help you learn and have resources. You can always call us just to run something by us. Critical data and business continuity. That's the risk planning. If something happens, how can we stay operational?
So basic disaster recovery plan for basically your community is important overall.
Absolutely. And then each system that you use, because each department uses sometimes a different software solution. And sometimes the software vendor helps back up data as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's perfect. We have a couple minutes for questions. We don't have any flown in there, but I'll kick it off because
Okay.
this 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 subject has always intrigued me, and I've talked with cities with Arcet down on their board, and the city of Bowie. You know, they've implemented some plans and things like that, and I really you never think about it till it hits you. But from best practices, I mean, what would you say a city could do to ascertain and say, hey, you know what, we do need to take a look at this. At what point of data, at what point of system? I mean, my thought is everyone, but what are some things that they can ask themselves and say, okay, let's let's have this assessed.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing that I love working about with cities is they talk among departments. They go to council meetings and the council has input and ask questions. So I would bring this up in your council meetings or your management meetings and just talk about what is our posture today if something drastic happened, whether it's a ransomware attack or a physical problem with the building or a lightning strike or a flood, natural disaster. So have conversations today, and then from those questions, you might want to engage a company like Core Plus or your current IT solution to just clearly identify and understand what you have today.
What
And I
what
think,
about the not proactive community? A lot of communities said, hey, they're just looking at it. What if you're hit with one of these? I mean, who do you call? You're hit with a ransom letter. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, what we learned is if you have a ransomware attack, call your insurance company first. Don't call your IT guys, call your insurance company first because they're going to direct who can work on that recovery. Now, it's okay to go turn off your internet, but don't reboot and don't call your IT guys. Call your insurance company because they may not allow your current IT resource to do the recovery with them paying for it. It's really important.
is that a good step? Just turn it off the internet, then call the insurance company?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
And then I think we have one more slide.
Well, we have the key takeaways. You kind of tapped into those, so
Okay.
we'll come back to it.
Well, we're hosting a booth at the Texas Municipal League. If you or any of your members of your municipal or city are going to join us at the Texas Municipal League conference, we'd love to meet you and come by the booth. We'd love to talk about how we can help, even in just an assessment. And one of the things that we wanted to offer everybody that's on here is I will do an assessment for you. Now, if you're in a different state, we could do an initial phone call with you and walk through what your current solutions are. We do cover the entire U.S. for support, so we have boots on the ground throughout the country. I'm based in Dallas, Texas, but I work everywhere. So this is an assessment that we're offering everybody that's on this call today. We'll come sit down with you or do a virtual call and walk through your current posture. Talk about your backups and your firewalls and security, what your plan is if something happens, and then if there's an opportunity for us to work with you more engaged, we can talk through and what that would look like.
Yeah, I think that's important. I really wanted to be able to give our community something back to say, hey, if you at least just want to have an assessment and know where you stand, I know you guys charge for that, and I appreciate you guys waiving that.
Yes.
Uh, but if you can, Crest, throw out that poll. If you click yes, we'll email you the voucher or whatever to present if we'll go up, and we'll leave that up there while we answer some questions.
Okay.
Okay. I see a question up there that just asks, they probably have talked with several different IT services and things like that. What makes you guys a little bit different?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so difficult to assess one IT resource from another. We bring an enterprise IT comprehensive plan at a fraction of the cost to your city. And so we've been working with cities for about 15 years. We've been in this industry for over 30 years, and we have some amazing people behind us that help us, on the day-to-day support, and network engineers and security engineers. And so it really is important to evaluate the overall posture of the IT resource. And it is difficult. We will do an assessment for that. So I don't mind looking at what you're looking at, whether it's just numbers or what they're offering. Even if we don't ever help you on an ongoing basis, we want to help everybody in the municipal space be as secure as possible, because it is a battlefield out there.
Excellent. We've got about 3 more minutes, and I've got another question. Hopefully this will trigger someone out in the audience with any other questions. What's a best practice I can have my people do, especially on these emails? Because it would have been so easy for her to, just go ahead and change bank accounts or things. Is there any
Absolutely.
that kind of
Yes.
trigger or something to say,
Yes. So
bare
your
minimum, do
banks,
this?
yeah, your banks will never call you or email you for something that pertains to moving money, ever. And so you got to be careful. I went to a security conference the other day, and they said if you don't own it, don't plug it into your computer. If it's not a QR code that you went to a website for, don't click on it. If the posture is, if you weren't expecting an email, think that it's a spam or a scam, right? So I get emails every day from our clients saying, "Hey, is this real? It looks like it could be, but I want you to tell me." And I would rather you send me 1,000 emails than ever click on one of them. But we do have great email protection software that will look at that and help identify known good email versus this is from an unknown sender.
Do you, I've seen some IT companies, they'll send like test emails just
Wait,
to keep the
yes.
staffs,
Yeah, I've
if
got
they
a
click on it,
system.
they say,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is not appropriate," just to help in the training.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
uh,
one of the systems that we use will send fake phishing emails. And if you click on it, it brings you to an email or website and says, "Hey, this was a test." But if it was an actual hacker, this is what it could have done. And then within 2 weeks, it's going to hit you again with a very similar looking thing to see if you learned from the first one. And then we do send out, we have a phishing training solution and cyber training solutions.
yeah, and another good thing, and I know Cresta caught this. She just checked the email. It was like one letter off, or it was,
Yes,
just a
absolutely.
weird looking email, and brought it out.
That's a very important part. Look at the sender. If it's from a Gmail or something weird, or if it's going to be different. So
Absolutely. We don't have any other questions. I have one more invite. I'm excited. We're going to be attending TML with Core Plus, and we're doing a VIP event. Want to invite everybody to it. It's really just a networking event. It is in Texas, so sorry if you are outside of the state. This is, a Texas only event. This is for typically city managers and things like that. So I wanted to put this poll up. If you're a city and you're the economic developer, but you want, your city manager, mayor, or whoever's going to be attending, throw in there, yes, a colleague. That'll give me your email to pop you the invite to pick up the VIP badge. We have actual VIP badges to get into the event so that it's free, and so are the food and bigios. Really cool opportunity to go out and connect and network.
that's great. Yeah,
Daniel,
this will be our 14th year at TML.
okay,
So
Yeah.
awesome. Daniel, I want to thank you so much for your time and your expertise today. And I really, obviously, if there's any questions, you can reach. Here's our contact information. If you have questions about becoming a part of GSLI, or if you have questions about any kind of data breach questions, you can call their number, which is on the screen, 214-734-1235, or go to coreplus.net by Friday. Well, and they'll make their their Q&A services available to you to get the answers that you need. With that said, we are right at 1 minute after. If there's no other questions, I'm excited, and I want to thank you, the listeners and the cities that came in today to learn about cybersecurity and some of the things you could do to help prevent attacks on your community. And we look forward to our next Prospect Live. We look forward to our next Master Series, and we hope all of you will join us for our jam sessions in the coming weeks. With that said, we're going to sign off today. And again, thanks for doing what you do with your communities. Take care.